Oh yeah, last minute decision.
John Boyle, you have a question for DK?
Sure. Yeah, DK, obviously second big game in a row for you in Philadelphia. Is something you like about that matchup, about playing in that building? What is it for you in that play?
I think we're just at the right time, right place. But no, it's kind of like coming home. A place that had a chance to draft me, but they didn't. So I got to make them pay.
Corbin Smith.
Hey, DK, you became the fastest player in franchise history to reach the 1,000-yard mark in a season, 11 games. What does that accomplishment mean for you, especially with you just being in your second season in the league?
Man, just to God be the glory for everything. I actually prayed earlier today that he would do this for me, and it came to pass. So just thank you to God and my teammates, the coaching staff, and the O-line for blocking their butt off today.
Adam Jude.
DK, Pete just kind of praised you for the way you handled yourself. Obviously, some early pushing and shoving, a little scuffle with Slay there. It's not the first time we've seen that this year, but obviously that's something you take some pride in, being tough and being physical. What went into this one tonight in particular?
Football is a physical game, so that's all it is. Blocking, trash talking.
Michael Sean Dugar.
Hey, DK, do you think DBs will get to a point where they stop trying to test you like that?
Hopefully, man, but I'm not going to back down from nothing. DBs, linebackers, D-line.
Second question for you. I know this is not your side of the ball, but just what have you thought of kind of the attitude the defense has had, like maybe in the last month or so?
Nobody's talking about the defense enough, in my opinion. They've been playing their butts off from the back end to our corners to linebackers, and we're getting to the quarterback every game right now. So our defense is playing unstoppable right now.
Thanks.
Art Teal.
DK, did it seem like Slay and the other Eagles defenders were trying to bait you into something and maybe get a foul on you or get you ejected?
No, football's a physical game, like I said, and there's going to be trash talking. When two good teams go up against each other, that's what you're going to get.
Joe Fan.
DK, there were 8 teams that drafted a wide receiver before you. Is this one, is Philadelphia, maybe, is there something extra there? Did you have meetings with them prior to the draft where you really thought that was a place you were going to go? It seems like this one specifically means something more to you.
No, it's just, 2 years in a row. I've just had 2 big games here. So, like I said, man, God works in mysterious ways. So, just coming home.
Greg Bell.
DK, what's different about the last 2 times the Eagles have gone man with you versus, say, Patrick Peterson in Arizona last month or Patrick Ramsey a couple weeks ago when maybe you guys don't go to you as much in those games yet? When Eagles go man, you go right at it.
It's just, the game plan. Once the ball comes to me, it comes to me. When they try to man us up and, Tyler gets 200 yards or, Demo or Freddie may have a breakout game next time. But, it's all about whose day it is.
Brady Henderson.
Hey, DK, you kind of touched on it there, but what's your mindset going into a game when you know or when you feel like you're going to see a lot of opposing teams' number 1 cornerback? What's your mindset going into it?
I'm happy. I'm getting a little respect, but I still got work to do. One of the defensive coaches came up to me and it kind of made me mad that he was like, I was in Detroit with Megatron, but you're not there yet. In my mind, I'm not trying to be Megatron. I'm trying to be me. So, had a little chip on my shoulder the whole game.
Was that Jim Schwartz?
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And last one for DK, Jackie Montgomery.
Hey, DK, just what did you think of Chris Carson getting back on the field finally in his performance?
He brought toughness back to the offense. Carlos ran hard last week, but just to see 32 back there in the backfield running over people and carrying people for 2 to 3 yards after he's hit is amazing.
Thank you, DK.
Russ for MVP.
Until the very end was more than everybody else in the field combined. And Lewis, I'll just start with you as a guy who used to make his living trying to slow guys like that down. When you look at him, what are you seeing?
I'm seeing a problem. And I think Darius Slay saw a problem tonight, too. When you have that kind of size, speed, strength, rapport with your quarterback, it's tough to defend, Scotty, especially when you're one-on-one all night long, like Darius Slay was tonight for the most part, because that's how Jim Schwartz likes to call the game. And Darius Slay's paid a lot of money, and they expect him to be able to match up against guys like this and be able to control them to some degree and not have them go off on you. You saw Jalen Ramsey do it, so he expected Darius Slay to have a little bit better of an outing than he did tonight. But for DK Metcalf and for the Seattle Seahawks fans in that organization, they've got to sell something between him and Russell Wilson that's going to be here to stay.
Speaking of problems, Brian, I didn't want to start the conversation here with the losing quarterback, but I feel like that is the overarching conversation that comes out of watching this game. You got a guy in Carson Wentz, and you all were right to point out it's not that many years ago he's out in the Coliseum and he's cooking, man. It was Carson that was cooking, right, with Philadelphia before that knee injury. But you pay him $128 million. I know the O-line's a mess, and you guys spent a lot of time in the back end of the game talking about it. But even when he's got time, he's off target. As a guy, Brian, who played that position, what is it that you see and don't see from Carson Wentz right now?
I think it's a confidence issue, Scott. And I think it's an accumulation of a lot of bad outings for not just Carson, but for this offense in general. And everybody just wants to bypass the offensive line. I don't. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't have time to sit back there in the pocket, then it begins to affect you. And even when you do have a clean pocket then, Scott, you're wondering, am I going to get hit in the back because I have, a guy in Jordan Mailata that's playing left tackle that's only started 5 games. So it begins to creep into your head. And then the play calling starts to get conservative. So yes, Carson Wentz needs to play better. Doug Peterson needs to coach better. The offensive line needs to play better. The management, the front office here in Philadelphia need to get better talent around Carson Wentz. I still believe in Carson Wentz, and you might mock me for that. I think he's a good quarterback. He's proven that he can be a good quarterback when you have the pieces around him.
No, not at all. And what you're I get it. And again, you played that position, so you know better than anyone how troubling it can be to have an O-line in front of you that is not able to keep you kind of upright. But I just feel like you're seeing misses when he's got a clean pocket, and the confidence speaks to that. It would make sense to me. And I just wonder, Lewis, and you know that town so well, because you're still kind of in it in theory, but you're not in it if this is how you're going to play. You know what I'm saying? So I just wonder, and you made it the point during the game, what are you supposed to do? I'm not saying that making a switch at quarterback gives you a better option to win. I just wonder if they're kind of boxed in by the money and the situation, Lewis.
Yeah, they're boxed in by both. You're right. You're kind of in purgatory as far as your season is concerned. You would like to figure out what you have in the future as far as Jalen Hurts is concerned, because you drafted him in the 2nd round, right? So you start thinking along those lines from a long-term perspective. The short term says we still have a chance to win the division if somehow we can get ourselves together here and win a few games. So what that usually leaves you is right down the middle where they are right now, which is you have a little bit of hope, but you also know we have a lot of work to do. And that's where the fans, Scotty, get absolutely fed up, because they're at this point where they're just like, what, just blow the whole thing up. Trade him, fire everybody, start over again. And as a front office, when you're going back into that building over there in the NovaCare right down the street right here tomorrow, you're sitting there going, we're not out of it, but we're out of it. So what do we do? And that is the worst position to be in, but they put themselves in this position.
Yeah, and you'd know it well. I sincerely appreciate the passion of the Philadelphia fans. And the best thing the Eagles have going for them is that right now that building isn't filled, because if it were, they'd be hearing it from the hometown faithful, and you know it so well. We got Wednesday football this week. We got doubleheaders next Monday. You got a San Francisco game in Arizona. Whatever, man. We're happy we got what we got, and we'll look forward to talking to you all next week. Travel well. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott.
Man. See you.
Man, it's tough, and I get it. To Brian's point, that O-line is really problematic. 6 sacks in the interception Monday. Wentz now has 65 combined sacks and turnovers this season, 17 more than any other quarterback. His Monday night counterpart, Russell Wilson, second with 48. But to the point we were making with Lewis, you're in it, but are you in it? Well, I mean, that's what we've got in the NFC East. It's just astounding Thanks to the tiebreaker, your current division leader, G-Man. And they're likely going to have to trot out Colt McCoy as their starting quarterback on Sunday because of the injury to Jones and the hamstring. 4 more brutal road games awaiting these teams in Week 13.
Post-game coverage is brought to you by T-Mobile.